My fellow Decepticons, it is I, Starscreamsalot here, coming back at you today with another video, and today we are taking a look at Studio Series 86 Mixmaster, the last of the Constructicons that I have meant to review, and the last one that I needed. So, yeah, I don't have too much to say, other than let's get into it. Starting off with his paint and details. His head sculpt is pretty dang good, if a little bit hard to get at. I mean, it looks like his head, and I like the Decepticon like that it has, and it is painted pretty nicely. See, he's got those nice red eyes. There you go. The silver head, or silver face, and all the details on the head do look really nice. He's got a funny looking nose that I've never really noticed before. But he also has not too much paint other anywhere else. I mean, he's got this red square and these black things which I think are painted. And I think this piece is painted, maybe? I don't think it is actually. And the Decepticon insignia. The rest of the paint is kind of just right there. But detail-wise, he's pretty nice. I mean, got all these molded details just kind of scattered around his body that do look really nice. And they don't get lost in the colors, I feel. I can still kind of distinctively tell what's what when I'm looking at it. And it's not super confusing or weird. He's even got detail on the inside of his arms and his legs. It all looks good. And he has detail on the inside of his chest right here. And up here. But that's mostly for alt mode stuff. And he's got these things up here, which I think are supposed to be guns. I've never really quite understood the biology of Mixmaster. I don't know, he's never really been my favorite Constructicon, but yeah, he does look good. This little square really annoys me because they couldn't have raised it up to be like right there. And it's like, it looks like it should move or like it should rotate, but it doesn't. It just sits there. Looks kind of ugly. But like from the back, he's not too bad. Like kibble, in terms of kibble, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I'd argue some of the other Constructicons are pretty much worse. Let's talk about his accessory real quick, which is kind of just this lame little gun. It's okay. It's just another gun. After how much of a hit most of the Constructicons guns have been, this one's kind of lame. It just doesn't sit right in his hand. It looks like he's holding the gun but below the trigger. And I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. And that's literally all he comes with. But in terms of the looks department, he's pretty solid. Which is something that I can't say for him in general. He's loose as hell. Like, I'm putting like no force into this. Now granted, it could be a whole lot worse, like I've said, with some other figures in the past. But it's really annoying, and he's especially loose in the hips, which means trying to get him into a pose where he can stand can be a little bit difficult sometimes, because I'll just push on him mildly, or even when I'm like setting him down, he just topples over to the side. And that really bugs me, because I do think he looks good. But, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. So getting into his articulation, his head is on a ball joint, but you kind of have to cram your fingers in there to really get at it. It does do a full 360, at least I'm pretty sure. Arms go all the way around, and they can go up like so, with the included hot rod joint. Bicep swivels, which do look a little bit weird, but they also kind of look weird on hook. Bends at the elbow, which also look pretty pretty weird. Nothing at the waist. Legs kick forward that far and kick back that far. The knee bends, like a teeny bit less than a 90, but it's like right there. He also bends his leg that way, but that's more so for transformation. And he's got a pretty good ankle rocker and a pretty good heel down. I don't know if you would ever or could use that, but you know, if you're creative, I'm sure you can come up with something. But yeah, it's just kind of standard Constructicon fare. Nothing insane, nothing to really write home about, but it's serviceable, at least in my opinion. But yeah, he does look good in a pose. It's just I find him annoying to handle due to things like how his head is locked behind this big old block right here, and how his shoulders do kind of get constricted because of these tabs right there, and how weird he looks when he rotates his biceps. But yeah, in some size comparisons, here's Earthrise Starscream. He's a little bit shorter, but the actual size comparisons that you're gonna want to see. Here we have Studio Series 86 Long Haul and Studio Series 86 Hook, and then Studio Series 86 Scrapper. Let's see if I can get it all in one frame. I don't think I will be able to, but you know. Studio Series 86 Scavenger and Studio Series 86 Bone Crusher. And they do look really good together. I didn't mention this in my ranking, but the cheerleader effect is in full. I think they all look great together. And I'm just really happy to have all of them together. This just looks really nice. And yeah, there's only so many different ways I can say I'm happy that they're all here now. And that I can finally have Devastator, which I did talk about a little bit, but I won't be talking about today. Sorry, Scavenger. So getting into the transformation, what you're going to want to do first is, what I like to do first is get the arms kind of up on the joints because those are kind of tight, and it'll get them out of the way. Flip this piece out, fold that piece in, like so. Boom. Open up this little panel right there. Grab that one too. Snap the legs together. These out the way. And you're gonna wanna kind of do, this piece is a little tight, but you're gonna wanna bend his legs back. Yeah, so you're gonna want to fold the legs forwards like that, and then bring him down. Bring him down like so. And what you're gonna want to do is lift this piece up so that you can then pull the arms in. Pull the arms in. Cover up his head. Flip this pieces over. And you're done. And you have his alt mode, which I think is pretty good. Kind of like how I feel about his robot mode. It is nothing spectacular, but I do like this more than his robot mode. It's just a pretty solid looking brick of a mode that looks nice, and it does roll pretty well. There's really not too much I want to say about this mode, because I don't really have much to say about any vehicle mode. But it does look good. This is where all the paint shows up, and I like the windows. And it does keep with the purple and green theme that the rest of the team has. And because I don't know when I'm going to have another chance to do this, I thought I'd just take a quick look of all of them in their vehicle modes, because they also look good together here, even though this is not how I'm going to be displaying them, obviously. They're all going in Devastator mode, but, you know, that's going to be something we're talking about at a different time. And the last thing that I wanted to do for this video was to just take a quick look at the leg mode, which is pretty easy to get into, all things considered. You gotta unsnap the arms from their spots, fold this piece down, fold these pieces down, fold these pieces in, and then what you're gonna want to do is untab these parts right here, and then lift them up like so, and then you have a leg. That's literally, it's just as easy as Bone Crusher, if not a little bit more. Well, I'd say just as easy as Bone Crusher. I'm not gonna show him off in Devastator mode just yet, but I do have the this piece, just to do the attachment real quickly, so that way I don't have to do it in the actual Devastator video. What you're gonna want to do, fold that piece out, and then slide it in from the bottom, like so. And then you have a leg. It's not as structurally sound as Scrapper was. He can't hold this thing up by himself. But, you know, that's the leg mode. But my next review will, in fact, be Devastator. So, you know, you don't have to wait for too long, hopefully, if I'm in the mood for it. Woohoo! But yeah, that was my video on Studio Series 86 Mixmaster. Now, I know in my video I said he was definitely the second worst Constructicon, which I do still agree with, just a little bit. I forgot how difficult these things are to get out their spots. Okay, what the hell? But, yeah, I mean, I don't have, like, as much of a hate for this figure. I don't hate this figure at all, not even a little bit. It's just he's the least enjoyable out of the bunch. And that's kind of what seals the deal for me. Because it's like, of all the Constructicons, this is the one that I would, if like, I had them all in my robot modes, this would be the one that I would just pick up the least. And just mess around with the least. Because it's like, I don't find him to be the most enjoyable. He has the worst transformation. Well, maybe not the worst transformation, but it's certainly not the best. It's not like the most enjoyable thing ever. But he's got a pretty, like, fine transformation. He's got average posing for the Constructicons. He has just some pretty bad tolerances. And he looks fine, but he's just not at all very enjoyable. Even Bone Crusher, he gave me a little bit of fun to just pick up and mess around with. And he also has the worst tolerances out of the bunch, which is also pretty unfortunate. But with that out of the way, I suppose that's about all I have to say for this video. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't, I don't care. Subscribe if you're not already, and do all that other jazz, and I'll see you in the next video. And that is it. Bye-bye.